was quiet and left me to my thoughts. Needless to say, they swirled around the news I'd gotten the day before about poor Stavros. Okay, maybe not poor Stavros. He was a rat, God rest his soul, and he got his just, if harsh, deserts. I figured it highly unlikely that the company paid him so little that he had to sell secrets on the side. If I, nobody that I was, made the kind of money they were paying me, then someone important like him must have been on par with the annual budget of your average African country, or maybe even the budget of a former Soviet Union country like Moldova. It may not do me much credit, but I didn't feel the least pangs of conscience about the part I played in writing his death sentence. I wasn't even the reason for his demise. I was more a minor catalyst. That is not to say that I'm some kind of soulless monster who couldn't care less about human life. It's just that my profession had taught me the value of moderating my responses, not to mention the fact that we all pay for what we do in this life. Stavros had paid in full. The car I'd been given was there to put me in my place. Do a good job and keep your nose clean, Nikiforov, and you can have it all. Money, your job, and a new car. Have your eye on a pretty girl? No problem. Make her your assistant. I figured they'd give me a chalet somewhere in the Alps if that's what I wanted. On the other hand, it was perfectly clear that if I tried to play games with them, I'd get a heart attack of my own, if not a much simpler solution. I wasn't the same kind of person, and so a bullet to the head or a rope around my neck would probably work. The possibilities are endless. There wasn't much of a choice. Being fed and healthy is always better than being poor and hungry, especially since they weren't asking me to do anything illegal. They just wanted honest work from me, so I made up my mind to give them exactly that. By the time we got back to the office, I'd almost completely convinced myself that everything was okay and going according to plan. I walked in to find one more surprise, a woman from Raidion who'd been waiting patiently for almost an hour. It turned out that it was payday, and she was there with our money. The feel of the fat envelope she handed me was enough to push me over the edge. My decision was the right one. Why are they giving our salary in envelopes? Why can't they just transfer it to our cards? Mused Samoshnikov in surprise. I was about to open my mouth when Vika stepped in. Samoshnikov, you're crazy. Where do we officially work? At the Capital Herald, answered Samoshnikov. Exactly, said Vika. And we're paid here, where we sign for the money we get. So, how is Raidion going to send us money? I mean, sure, if you're happy about getting a wad of money in an envelope, you're welcome to call them up. And we'll have a second obituary on our hands, said Yushkov, finishing her sentence. Can you hear yourself? I jumped in, happy that the woman who'd brought us our money had left before she could hear the idiot in front of me. Words have consequences, and sometimes serious ones. Oh, come on, Yushkov blanched. I was just kidding. Next time, think about who and what you're kidding about, said Vika pointedly, with a glance in my direction. Exactly, I said. Use your brain every once in a while. And that goes for all of you. Okay? Get back to work. I quickly threw together the obituary using the text I'd been sent and all the usual cliches, checked my team's work, saw that they were slowly starting to round into form, and left for home in my new car. What is there to say about the Chevy Impala? It's a Chevy Impala. I was just afraid that some daring car thieves might think the same. Their kind didn't care about fancy alarms, special license plate numbers, or the law. With that in mind, I dropped Vika off at my building before driving to a new parking building and paying for the 101 spot. It may not have been the cheapest option, but it was good enough. Autumn was in full swing, though the streetlights hadn't yet been adjusted, and so it was dark near the entrance to my building by the time I got there. That may have been why I didn't see the three young men standing by the entrance until I walked up to them. Are you Nikiforov? Asked one of them. Yes. And? I answered, receiving a shot to the solar plexus in reply. There was barely enough time for me to gasp for air before I saw stars. As I doubled over in pain, one of them smashed his knee into my face. From there it was simple. They worked me over with all due diligence and effort they could muster. They started by